Ooh, think we finally figured it out, Mitch.
How about that? I don't know. I think we solved the world's problems starting with the internet.
Yes. Yes. Well, today, what are we here to talk about? The profitable franchise and the qualities they have?
That's just exactly it. Most profitable senior care franchises have these five qualities, and we're going to talk about all five of them today.
Oh, boy. So I guess might as well start with number one.
Mhm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's start it. So, number one, when what we're doing here is helping folks who are joining the call today kind of understand, the profitability behind senior care agencies, and what bubbles to the surface of profitable agencies, therefore franchisors, right? And so, the first thing to look for is brand recognition. Right? Think of any hotel or gas station or any number of food restaurants you think of, right? The brand is very obvious to you, right? So obvious that many of those brands don't share financial earnings information in their FDD for the simple reason that they don't have to. They have 10,000 units, right? It's probably going to work. For the most part, strong brand recognition tends to be associated with those sort of light bulb, I know what that brand is, right? Uh, but we can't all be gigantic franchisors, right? Someday. But what happens when we're thinking of profitability or success behind your own home care agency in a franchisor when it comes to strong brand recognition? What we like to think of is how you as the entrepreneur, you as the agency owner, you as the franchisee are recognized in your own market, right? How can your franchisor help you become the face of your industry within your market, right? Could that be through expert training on how to associate with referral marketing? Could that be high quality marketing assets designed to show you off to your new community, right? Could that be through robust hiring practices that get you, your business, and everything you want to do in your community in front of great caregivers? When you see that in this brand and how they can help you do it, the result will be an association between you, success, and the industry that you're entering in, right? I always talk to folks when I'm on the phone with the place at home candidates about the importance of brand recognition on the entrepreneur level, right? We sometimes say that the folks may not remember the name of your business, but they'll say, "Oh, you got to go talk to Johnny because Johnny took care of mom and dad." Right? That's the person that I go to for this service. In that kind of referral world, you have become recognized as a strong brand leader, right, in this industry. So when you can tie yourself to strong brand recognition and you can see how the franchisor you're vetting gives you strategies to do that, you can be sure that somewhere in the background there is likely a profitable franchise or a concept. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And I mean, I guess obviously we're here to also talk about a place at home. And so it
Yeah.
kind of leads us to number two because we always pride ourselves on our training and support system. And that
Mhm.
kind of goes into, you know, quality number two that we need.
Exactly. The second quality of those profitable franchises is comprehensive training and support, right? And I want to help folks understand something a little more specific. Like, obviously, investing into a franchise ought to give you a return. And the best way to see that return is through what you get in training and support, right? Asking your franchisor what that looks like, attending maybe a broad webinar that's walking you through several points of it, or for another way, understanding what they're going to offer you will help you understand how codified the system is, how replicable it is, and how focused what that service they're offering you could be. Right? If it's just kind of a here's the playbook, good luck, then those results will be all over the board. Some likely very profitable, others with different results. And when you can see comprehensive training and support that's really focused in what you're getting from your franchisor, you can make some likely assumptions based on the success of that. Right? What does that look like? It could be any number of things, but of course, we here at a place at home, right, through marketing assets that Anna develops for us, right? We walk everybody through a 5-step plan on very specifically how we train you and how we support you post opening, right? Uh, that's what we do to communicate this comprehensive training and support aspect. And you can likely see that in various ways, depending on the brand you're looking at, depending on the developer you're talking to. But when you can finally see that their plan for you is comprehensive, then you get to start to say, okay, this is not their first rodeo. They've done this before. This is something I can make some reasonable bets on, and I'm excited to get started. Right?
Yeah. And here we start, as soon as you sign, we've got Danny helping, get licensing and get your doors open. Come here to
Yeah.
Omaha for training week. And then from
Yeah.
there, you kind of move into Aubrey's coaching. And then
Mhm.
I'm just there for the ride for all of it.
Yeah, right. You got to kind of tune in, to see Anna help you with all of these things here. It really is a replicable process, right? I think the replicable aspect of it is what really helps make those bets on how likely it is to be profitable or successful at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
guess then from there, we also need to make sure we've got, quality.
Mhm,
Nobody wants to go in some place that's, doesn't have high quality
mhm,
standards anyway.
exactly. When you what we're seeing here, is that those brands that can provide that kind of high quality care, specifically in the home care area, tend to be more successful, right? They tend to get repeat customers. They tend to generate more referrals, right? They tend to generate more applicants to come work for them, right? So when we focus on the end user and that specific service, when we deliver it and who it gets delivered to, and focusing on that area, making sure you get the highest quality care possible, you tend to be more successful and therefore more profitable, right? Uh, and it stands to reason, right? Those folks who have the best service, the best product, whatever it is, the highest quality at the end of your value proposition, that business is going to be more successful, right? So how do you do it? How do you check to be sure that you're meeting this third criteria of profitable franchises in the home care space? Well, it's doing some spot checks and some audits, right? Utilizing software or feedback tools that you can get either from your caregivers or from your clients, from everybody in between about what's happening in the home, right? We have some great partners within that we work with here at A Place at Home that can give us those kinds of anonymous feedback from everybody who's using this service, right? Ideally, you get back 5 stars, everything's cool, you qualify for a bunch of awards, and things are great. But our partners at Home Care Pulse, right, these folks that we get to use and that is very prevalent throughout the home care space, when they share us information on things that could be worked on, we now have an opportunity to reinvest in our training, in our execution of this service to make sure we're getting back to this third quality, right? That's high quality care standards. And if you're not asking what you could be doing better, you're not soliciting response from people receiving your product, you're going to let maybe issues that could damage your future prospects just go unchecked for a long amount of time. And likely you'll hear about it when it's a bigger issue than it could have been had you not used somebody like Home Care Pulse to get that information up front, right? Not only that, but our brand here at A Place at Home uses those specific scores with Home Care Pulse to base our convention awards on. And this is the kind of the competition amongst our franchisees to provide the best quality care for those clients, right? That's our way of spot checking what's happening in the homes of our clients, the work of our caregivers, and the impact of our franchisees. Let's reward that with big old trophies and huge claps and recognition of franchisees in front of their peers, right? That's our way to be sure that folks are motivated to provide high quality care. We use those kinds of feedback tools to be sure that we can address problems as they're coming up. And at the end of the day, if those agencies are focused on the highest quality care in the home for the client, then they are likely on their way to becoming more profitable than the competition.
Yeah, and luckily here we if one or well, majority of our owners got one or both of the home care Paul's employee and provider of choice. So that says a lot right now with our brand and our culture that I think we're taking care of not only our clients but our people. And
Mhm.
then, because
Yeah.
I got to throw in some marketing,
Whoop,
um, you know, also those Google reviews. Everybody Googles everything, so Google reviews rank pretty high too on making sure that mom and dad are getting taken care of the right way.
whoop. Absolutely right. Thank you so much for bringing that up. The Google reviews. That is the essence of why we work with Home Care Pulse for this high quality of care standard is to get that feedback, right? Of course, you want to hear positive things and five-star experiences, but those folks who had a less than perfect experience can give you an opportunity to improve as well, right? Uh, and that's from the position of the entrepreneur once you're in the business, right? But the information, we're really getting across, of course, in our blog at a place franchise.com of the same name of this here video is kind of about the candidate as you're in your due diligence process, looking at a brand that you might be interested in, read their reviews, right? Go to Google and look at their franchise page, right? Their corporate area, and start to read what people are saying about them. Go to unit levels, right? And get that idea of what the unit level Google profile looks like, right? It's not uncommon to see, not a perfect five-star review, because again, those folks who had a less than perfect opportunity gives the entrepreneur a way to respond and to get better. Keep all that in mind, because when you see some patterns, some high quality responses, some less than perfect experiences that were addressed quickly, you can start to make assumptions based on kind of the second big quality over here, which was comprehensive training and support. Right? Are those brands supporting their franchisees to keep their feedback tools open and responded to? And you start to see stuff like that, you can make some pretty solid assessments on their success level as a brand and what you might do inside that brand. Google's a great place to do that.
Absolutely. I guess kind of to keep going on down,
Mm-hmm.
for those that haven't done their research on a place at home and, how we are a little different than your average home care, it's our multiple revenue streams.
Ooh, what a good point. What a good point, right? Uh, what you get to do here, right, as a candidate reviewing brands and taking a look at this thing, is to just ask that question, how can I generate revenue, right? You start there and you'll get to profit. Uh, but when you're answered with multiple avenues to generate revenue or a multiple revenue stream opportunity, you start to look at the whole mix, right? Every arrow in your quiver that you have, every lever you can pull to make an impact in your community. If you just do one thing, then that's fine. Just do that a lot and do it really well. If you have multiple things you can do those a lot and do those really well. And you're going to start to see some benefits to your bottom line, right? Because when you look at a multiple revenue stream model, like a place at home with senior focused care, you'll notice different expenses, different inputs from you, the franchisee, that can raise or lower your profit margins, right? Think of our primary service here at a place at home through senior focused care, which is in-home service, right? That's the in-home care we're offering people. This is the bulk of what we get to do and the bedrock of our industry, right? What we're after. But when we can offer those auxiliary services, it tends to require less caregivers and more of our franchisees to provide that work. Your labor costs start to go down, your profits start to go up. And when you can impact your community and help your clients in those higher profit margin service lines and put that on top of your primary driver in your business, your entire profit margin will go up, right? So when you see that opportunity in the brand that you're vetting, there's more than one way to make an impact. There's more than one way to generate a revenue. You're starting to see things come in your control that you can focus on. You start to think like, man, I could be really good at, for example, care coordination, our second service. And that's going to be a big focus of my business. Or perhaps senior living alternatives and transition support from home to an assisted living is something you've got a lot of knowledge about, some contacts already. Work with that. Try to do it. Maybe you came from the staffing world, like some of our co-founders did, and a lot of folks in our system. So staffing solutions feels like a really solid additional way to make an impact. You start to say, okay, when I get all of those options, I can make an impact in my business, start to generate multiple revenue streams, and see my profit on the total business start to go up. Right? That's for our business here at a place at home and many others. Asking about what those look like in the mix, right, of your revenue can really help you focus on just bringing the ship up with the tide.
Yes, it's always good
Yeah.
to see our owners that mix in the multiple revenue streams and how it does add a little extra to their bottom line. So,
Mhm.
a nice little added feature that we offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Bonus.
Right. Now, I think this last one, I know I can talk about it for a while, but you talk about this every day, and that's a strong local market.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Uh, think of the business you're in, right, and where you want to start this business, right. Um, a surf shop in Omaha, Nebraska may not be the best place to start that, right? Now, for all those folks doing it, I don't want to say your dreams are crushed. You get after it, but you start to think about what your local market looks like and how you can support your business, right? I think an onion rings and ranch store here in Omaha would do very well. I would be their primary customer, and I'm their target market. That would be excellent. But you get to start, you get to do that work on your own, right? Um, and so let's talk about this a little bit too, because you're right, Anna. I talk about it a lot. As from the identification space, right? Can we identify strong local markets? And then what our team helps you do is then go execute those strategies that we saw from the 10,000-foot view, right? Uh, when we think about strong local markets leading to potentially more profitable franchises, we're looking for our clients, right? Where are our seniors? Where are the folks who need your service? Geographically, in what zip code do they live? And can we get closer to them? Can you put your office in general proximity to that? Can you think of what your drive times will be for your caregivers and what that route looks like for them to go do their great work in the home of their clients, right? When you start to see a handful of those metrics, and I've got, three primary ones that I run through with our candidates, you start to see what is emerging as a strong local market, right? Um, and I always like to work with our candidates coming through this process about what they might know of the local market, right? Typically, when you're vetting franchises, you're probably starting this business in your backyard. And if you've been there for any amount of time, you have a sense of what your neighborhood looks like, of what the area might be for your business. And you might see things that the developer doesn't know from the screen, right? When you can collaborate with them and share that, hey, I think this area of town is going to be great for it, or I happen to know that this is a terrible traffic way, like this road gets blocked all the time, and I need to find a way around that, right? That might not be something everybody picks up on. But you, as the local expert, have lived that and really can bring that information along, right? So I'm encouraging every candidate here, vetting brands using our kind of 5 qualities of profitable franchises, to rely on their franchisor about what a strong local market is, but to be encouraged to do your own research, right? What reasons do you have to start this business in your market? Do you think that market is specifically lending you an advantage that you're not going to see elsewhere, right? And as a way to maybe kind of just reaffirm what you think to be true, ask your developer, ask that brand, get that information with them and collaborate with it. Perhaps you can get on the same page and invest in each other to make sure that your territory is the best, right? But that's all kind of like in the planning stage, right? We're looking at here, from Google Maps down onto what happens there, right? Do you have anything to add about strong local markets, Anna?
I always, 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 especially starting out, try to get involved with our new franchisees from the beginning to have them look at their market. Who are
Mhm,
your competitors? What are they doing? What else can you be doing?
mhm.
I know, for instance, especially we were talking about Google, a
Yeah.
competitor opening doors down the street too, and we don't know it because they're not open yet, but you're there on foot, so you know it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's always good knowing what they see there in their market and then figuring out how to market to their community as well. They know the area. Marketing in Omaha is different than marketing in Colorado, than Boston. It's, different parts of the world, and making sure that what we're sending is the right audience for that area.
Hmm. Hmm. Absolutely. You know, it's, I think this is giving a great opportunity to kind of, address some of our listeners here, in the chat and kind of hearing about that. When you take this kind of marketing support from a national level and getting specific into your market, there's a lot of great comments here about making that a little more specific to that region, right? Um, and that said, revamping the entire marketing might not be the right answer, but it could have a lot of focus on your geography. You, as the entrepreneur, put your face on it, man. Get out there, things like this, and be that kind of person who is taking the national brand and making it, bringing it to life in your market. And really, I think it's an exciting way to work with your franchisor on your local level to get that there, right? And that sort of
Absolutely.
stuff is not just like a 90-day relationship, right? That's going to come back throughout the life of your business doing that kind of work.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that's every single day you're in your local market. You're constantly marketing. If you go out to lunch or dinner with your family, you're
Mhm.
marketing.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of our owners have kids involved in sports or school activities. You're marketing. It's a constant, always marketing.
Yeah. Exactly. And when you take on this new small business, right? You talk about things that are always on, and some that's just how it is. That's exciting, right? You're always kind of talking about your business. You're always being that face of it, and it's always going to help because when you least expect, somebody's gonna be like, "Man, that guy was really nice to me. Hold that door open. I remember him from somewhere. Oh yeah, I was at the assisted living with mom, and we were seeing some folks, and that's where that guy was from, or something like that. That can really benefit you, your brand, and your business, and ultimately provide a better service to your client. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I always try to help them make out a like a calendar of like, okay, this week I'm gonna go into these places. Next week, like we've got a big Alzheimer's walk coming up. What are big events you got to hit, and then where else can you do some networking in between?
Yeah. And how much of that can you write down? Can you prioritize? Can you give yourself a strategy here, where you don't just have to keep it all up in your head, your short list of people you need to talk to. There's a lot of stuff going on up there, right? There's a lot of ranch and onion rings up in here for me. So, just make some space, right? And use content calendars like Anna suggests, right? This is something we help all of our franchisees do. Um, and it can just keep a lot of that streamlined. You can focus on that, put it on the calendar, and when it comes up, just turn it on and get ready. Make those content posts, or know that you're going to those referral marketing appointments and get excited to talk with folks you can work with. Right? Don't keep it up here. Utilize the strong support from your franchisor, the tools they built for you to get it off of your mind into the real world and excited to go execute it.
Yes, because like you said, we can't tell from Google what you have going on in your area. You know your area better than we do.
Yeah, exactly. Collaborate with that, and boom, all of a sudden uh, how to get in front of folks who really need your help. And a great franchisor is willing to listen to you and partner with those strategies as well, just to get to the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, are we
absolutely.
almost to 30 minutes already, Mitch?
I think that we are. We're pretty close here. But I tell you what, can I recap these 5 qualities that we've been talking about?
Definitely need to recap them.
Let's do it. All right. From the perspective of an individual checking out franchising, that's, man, I really want to start a business. I think proven process is something that really excites me as opposed to starting from scratch. But I got bills. I got to support my family. I want to grow my financial prospects and create a business that is profitable. For that reason, there's some strong qualities you ought to be checking out. Right. And this first quality here is a strong brand recognition. Could it be as strong as some fast food brands that everybody can think of right away? Maybe, right? It could also be strategies to be the face of the solution you're providing in your market, right? Co-branding a lot of assets with your franchisor, utilizing a lot of marketing materials to get in front of folks, and just being out in the market all the time can help you create your strong brand recognition, right? But from there, right, you want a comprehensive training and support strategy from your franchisor, right? Not only is that the key piece of value that you're getting, right, from your investment into that brand, but it can also show you just how dialed in that support system is through the franchisor, right? You have a reasonable expectation that this has been done with multiple franchisees, and your results, though they may vary and likely will, give you a little less risk than just starting on your own and hoping it works, right? And when you do that, you see that typically your partners within that franchise are giving the highest quality care, right? That is specific to home care, of course, but broadly across the industries, is the product, is that final value proposition as good as it can be? And in my opinion, if it's not, how do you collect that feedback? How do you hear about it? How can you make yourself aware to the opportunities to improve your business, right? When you see that through your franchisor, you know that you're starting to cook. This is the place to be. And then number 4 is, how many ways can you make an impact with this franchisor? There's a lot of great brands who do one thing, they do it well, and they do it a lot. If that fits for your style and meets your goals, go for it. If you want to be more of a kind of roundhouse of a dozen or more solutions, and that's something that you get to handle, go for that. If you're looking for somewhere in the middle, kind of the Goldilocks just right option of perhaps 4 revenue streams, maybe they're called senior focused care, Maybe it's at a place at home. It's hard to say, but maybe that's the best move for you when you can see multiple revenue streams. And finally, the last thing that you're looking for to be fairly confident in the profitability of your future franchise is knowing that you're starting this in a strong local market. You get information from your franchisor, you can collaborate with your own information of your read right on the market. And by the end of it, you've got 5 things to look for to be fairly confident that the brand you're going to go with, the business you're going to start, is going to be more profitable than not. I wish everyone the most success, all this wild success, right? And if some of that's with a place at home, you'll be talking to me, and eventually you'll be talking to Anna. How about that?
Absolutely. Can't wait to have everybody on board with us.
Yes,
But
yes.
until then, we are taking a break next week for the 4th of July. So we hope you all have a great and safe 4th of July weekend day, whatever your plans are. But we will be back the following week with Mitch
Mhm.
and Jared talking about the lovely royalty fees that come with franchising.
Woo! Yes.
So until then, have a safe holiday weekend, and we will see you all in a couple weeks.
All right. See you guys.